The NERC tried to explain what is going on. They talked about the fact that the collapse on and the shortages of electricity we're having now has to do with the issue of maintenance that is being carried around or carried out in most of the plants that we have, facilities that we have. Should that not make Nigerians feel, okay, the government is doing something, so maybe let's, it's like a construction period where when the construction is going on, everybody is under inconveniences, so, but we understand, it's construction. So at the end of the day, things will be fine. Is that what you see?
Well, not, aside from the maintenance issues, it talks about the gas supply and all of that. So the question is this: before the gas supply was short, before the maintenance happened, what was the power like? What is it like today? It's endemic in our system where we get to add to whatever challenges we're having, because it's very clear to anyone that we're still grappling with the issue of the fuel scarcity, having to pay a high amount for diesel and petrol and all of that. So the question is, the maintenance, did it have to be done at once? Could it have been done in phases? We're not saying don't maintain, because what you don't maintain breaks down, and then we're worse off for it. But could it have been done in phases? Could it have been done systematically? These are the things that we're saying. So you can't just say that, okay, because it's due for maintenance now, let's shut everything down and then leave people to sort themselves. That's not how it works, which is the same thing we see with road construction, because you made an example of road construction, where we have an example of construction being done at Ojota, and then you have another one being done at 7-Up, and then you have another one being done at Yanoworo.
And maybe another one on Third Mainland.
Another one on Third Mainland. So you find that even alternative routes are not available, which is not how things are done. Can we just have, you talked about empathy earlier being shown by the president, but can we just be empathetic to one another and say that, you know what, this isn't just the ways to get things done. Are there better ways to do it? Are there more efficient ways to do it? Are there more humane ways to get something done? Aside from saying that, okay, you know what, we just shut everything down, you do everything at Ojota, do it here, do it over there, and then alternate routes are not even available, and then everybody's stuck in traffic for no good reason. Because also part of what is the issues we have in our system is we don't value productivity that much. We're not able to measure productivity, which is something I've complained about in recent time, that maybe if we had the American system where we get paid by the hour, people will be able to measure. Because I see people saying, oh, I spent 5 hours in traffic. And they say it because I see they deserve a medal. And I'm saying, that's 5 hours of your life.
Exactly.
You're supposed to be productive at work doing something. Can you quantify those hours? Can you say that, okay, this has cost me this much. I earn 60,000 naira. The 5 hours is costing me this. Oh, maybe to ensure that I don't get to lose that amount of money, I put pressure on the people who represent me in the National Assembly. I put pressure on the governor. I put pressure on the president. I put pressure on the people that were elected into office, because their inadequacies is costing me money. Also knowing that your employer won't give you a lot more money because there's inflation, there are other factors. But when we're able to measure productivity in that way, I believe that that maybe we'll have a better conversation with these things. But up until then, we may still get to have a lot of citizens who are very laid back and saying it as, okay, just tell the boss I got to work 9 o'clock, you two got here 9:15, because we're all in traffic. But the question is, what is being done about it? And I say again, yes, the citizens also have a role to play. That's why I said earlier, we need to get our PVCs and ensure that this mess does not continue. It is really just not sustainable.
All right. Now, the issue of the PHCN, that has been decentralized into different, owned by different companies here and there. Now, a lot of people still point fingers to where it all started, the privatization of NEPA, and then breaking it into PHCN, and then having all of that. A lot of people still say that those companies have not delivered. If they deliver even 50% of the mandate that they came on board for or with, by now we should have moved somewhere.
Yes. So, which is going back to what I said earlier, that the people that handled the whole thing, whether in government or not, but I believe there's a minister in charge of the entire thing, have they been able to call them to have conversations? The relevant stakeholders come to the table. what is the problem, because this is just not sustainable.
They had conversations at different times. They requested for bailouts. They were given at some time as well.
And I think a few days ago, they were still saying that the government was owing them 3 trillion naira or 6 trillion naira, thereabout. So the question is, where is the challenge coming from? Either are they owing you money? Do you have enough equipment? Is that where the issue is coming from? Is there a way to find external partners to come on board to see how we can get this done? Because like we said earlier, it isn't rocket science.
Yeah.
If we're very deliberate about getting this issue of power done, we will get it done and we'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
So I believe that all of these conversations around, okay, somebody's owing us money, they are not doing what they're supposed to do, they're flimsy excuses. Because we have a population of over 200 million people, practically all in darkness. That doesn't make any sense. So let's leave the realm of excuses and get to the place where there are actions. And some people will say that, oh, you know what, talk is cheap. You know what is cheaper? Action. Action is cheaper because in the long run, it costs you less. So then we don't get to have these conversations all the time. But can we have some deliberate action in place to say that, okay, you know what, this is where we are now. We're going to 100% in the next 2 years. Maybe in the next 2 years, we'll fall short a bit to get to like 70%. Okay, what were the things that made us have a shortfall? Can we take a look at where we're coming from, the journey so far? What have we learned? Can these people, either the discos or the people in government, say that in the last couple of years, these are the lessons learned, these are the issues they've had, these are the ways they've been able to address them, handle them, to ensure that they don't happen again? Because now we're talking about shortfall of the gas supply, having maintenance done at the same time. Are there being lessons learned now to say that, okay, you know what, this is inefficient, moving forward? Is it possible that before the end of this year, we'll still have shortage of gas supply? It is possible. What can we do to mitigate that? What are the systems being put in place? Is it an issue of insecurity? Who are the people we're talking to in the law enforcement to ensure that the gas pipelines are secure so that we don't have this issue of power, because in the end they connect? Issue of maintenance. When is the next maintenance going to happen? When is the next round going to happen? How do we break them down into different phases that it also maybe doesn't coincide with how the gas supplies affect the whole system? So there are ways to go about this, and like we said, it's really not rocket science, because truth be told, rocket science is really not even rocket science any longer. Yes.
Rocket science is being mastered now.
It's being mastered now. So, I mean, the fact that we're still having to talk about power generation and distribution in 2022, I think it is really embarrassing.
All right, we have to leave you here now. Thank you so much, Dick Boyewale, for your time on the program. Is the rocket science is no longer rocket science?
It isn't. Thank you for having me.
It used to be seen as something so difficult. Just
yes,
that a few persons knew what the thing was about.
Private sector doing it now.
Space science, rocket science is no longer rocket science. It's been mastered. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you.